Round 6 of PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland action kicked off at Corporate Travel Management Stadium on Friday night. Brisbane City looking to turn around their unspectacular start to the 2015 campaign when they hosted crosstown rivals Olympic FC. Form goes out the window when it comes to a local derby, and City proved the point early. Antonio Murray heading home from this free kick, Brisbane City with a 1-0 lead inside 10 minutes. Olympic are always a threat though, and it didn't take long for the chances to appear. Matt Stein with a sharp save to deny Tim Smits's header. Midway through the half and Costa Saros pulled the trigger for Olympic. He got past Stein in goal, but Kosataki was on the line to steer it clear. The pressure took its toll just before half-time. Smits playing through Reece Meredith, an assured finish past Stein, and it was 1-1 at the break. Only minutes after the restart, an Olympic turned it up a notch. Michael Lee feeding the feet of Kazuya Ito, a composed finish, and Olympic were ahead for the first time 2-1. No respite for the hosts as Tim Smits headed home only minutes later. A superb finish into the top corner, Olympic now coasting at 3-1. More heartbreak for the hosts as this goal was disallowed for offside. Sataki just in front of Nick Buckley when he received the pass. Buckley chanced his hand from range but couldn't get past Matt Acton in the Olympic goal. The Olympic shot stopper up to task again to deny this free kick from Murray later in the half. But in the end, the comeback just wasn't to be. City still winless after 6 rounds, 3-1 the final score to Olympic, Tim Smits getting our nod as the man of the match. On Saturday night in Townsville, the winless Southwest Queensland Thunder were looking to get their season back on track when they faced off against Northern Fury. But the visitors soon found themselves on the back foot. Goalkeeper Jaden Formosa spilling this corner into the path of Sam Herlihy. He knocked it home, Fury up 1-0 only minutes into the match. Only 10 minutes later and the Thunder defence were at 6s and 7s. The cutback finding its way to Herlihy. He smashed it home, Fury up 2-0 inside the quarter hour. Herlihy was running riot, only minutes later coming inches wide of securing his hat-trick. In fact, it was all looking too easy for Fury. This early ball from the back picking out Jake Perry, he slotted home the finish, Fury up 3-0 inside 20 minutes and the points effectively sealed. Not content with just a 3-goal buffer, Fury continued to knock at the door. Another Fury breakaway saw Formosa give away a penalty. He was lucky to only see yellow, however in the end couldn't stop the penalty kick from Joe Thornton. 4-0 to Fury inside half an hour. As sharp as they were up front, the hosts also did the business at the back, taking their 4-goal lead into the half. No respite for the Thunder defence after the break. Thornton slipped through in behind the line. He delivered a sharp finish, his second of the night, and 5-0 now to the hosts. Thornton then turned provider for Herlihy's hat-trick. An unconvincing finish, but they all count just the same. Fury up 6-0. Thornton went in search of his hat-trick only to be denied by the post. In the end, Thunder's defence preventing further damage, but still Fury running away with it, 6-0 winners. Sam Herlihy getting our nod as the man of the match. Back in the southeast, and Redlands ventured to Ipswich in search of their first 3 points of the season. Standing in their way, early season surprise packets Western Pride FC. There was early joy for the visitors as Mitchell Bird won the foot race to this ball. He cut back for Jaden Prasad who delivered on the finish. Redlands up 1-0 inside 10 minutes. Minutes later and Prasad failed to capitalise on this delightful chipped pass from Graham Fife. Down the other end and Joel Hack called upon Redlands goalkeeper Brendan White before Harrison Sawyer sent his shot just across the face. Chris Scott coming closer still for the hosts, his shot bouncing back off the woodwork. While for Redlands, Elliot Ronto did everything but find the finish on this run. In the end, the single goal margin separating the teams at half-time. The second goal continued to prove elusive for Redlands after the restart. Bird putting his foot through this strike only to be denied by some stunning goalkeeping. Down the other end and Fortune smiled on the hosts. A bit of a clumsy build-up, but the ball finding its way to Scott. He drilled home the finish and Pride were back on level terms at a goal apiece. Minutes later and it was all going wrong for Redlands. White spilling this cross, he brought down Jay Kitching as he tried to recover to give away the penalty. Up stepped Lincoln Rule, a decisive finish, Western Pride in front for the first time at 2-1. White looked to make amends with some telling saves, keeping Redlands in touch. But try as they might, the Redlands attackers were just unable to find an equaliser. George Camano sending this shot over the top with the final kick of the game. 2-1 the full-time score to Western Pride, defender Caelan Fisher-Smith getting our nod as the man of the match. Sunday action got underway with the first match of a doubleheader at Perry Park, Brisbane Raw Youth hosting FNQ FC Heat. The weekend's theme of early goals continued, Alex Smith finding space for Heat. He beat his marker, delivered a sharp finish down low, and the visitors had a 1-0 lead inside 10 minutes. Young Raw had trouble finding their range early, but they had better success inside the box. Nicholas D'Agostino earning this penalty following a challenge from Kev Ward. He stepped up from 12 yards to slot his penalty, and it was 1-1 inside 20 minutes. Ward made amends shortly after, delivering this sharp one-on-one save to deny D'Agostino on the break. Only for Lady Luck to shine on the Raw marksman minutes later. Shelford Deus' shot falling straight at his feet. He slotted home the finish, D'Agostino with a double to put Raw ahead 2-1. Heat had chances to restore parity before the break. Alex Smith unlucky to see his lob shot spin away from the goal mouth. In the end, Raw still with the advantage at half-time. A golden chance for Heat after the restart when Smith was brought down in the box by Jaden Walker. Chris O'Hare stepped up to take the penalty kick, but Tomislav Bilic up to task, palming the ball away for Young Raw to maintain their lead. But O'Hare made amends only minutes later, his perseverance earning a fortunate deflection. He showed plenty of pace and strength to win out in the end, nodding home into an empty net, and Heat were back on level terms. The contest continued to seesaw as both Ward and Bilic proved up to task time and again. But there was still another twist in this tale. D'Agostino's ball somehow finding its way to Ludwig at the far post. He tapped it home, Young Raw ahead 3-2 in the final 10 minutes. There would be no further comeback for Heat as Sam Sibichuara delivered a touch of class to finish things off in time added on. In the end, 4-2 to Young Raw, Nicholas D'Agostino getting our award as the man of the match. A blockbuster for the second match at Perry Park on Sunday afternoon, a top-of-the-table clash between the first-place Brisbane Strikers and second-place Moreton Bay United. Undefeated so far this season, Jets look to get things moving early, Jordan Farina pulling the trigger from distance. While down the other end, Jason Makwase tried his hand, but ultimately it was Daniel Clark that found first joy. Doing well to control this cross from Charles Mendy, he slotted home the finish, Jets off to a flyer, 1-0 inside the quarter hour. Another chance for Clark midway through the half, but this time Strikers goalkeeper Michael Turnbull had it covered. Strikers went in search of the leveller when Makwase set up Scott Coulson. His shot well struck, but just wide of the target. Before Mendy made a mess of this absolute sitter, failing to find the target from point-blank range, the teams going into the break, 1-0 to Moreton Bay United. A different tale in the second half as Strikers had the better of the early chances. Quick passing setting up Makwase for a shot, but unable to get past Luke Boreen. But as they've done so often this season, Strikers found joy from a set piece. Coulson's corner glancing in off the head of Josh Ahern, and the hosts were back on level terms at a goal apiece. With top spot in the league hinging on the result, Makwase went for the spectacular in search of the 3 points. While down the other end, Mendy's horror evening in front of goal continued, putting this shot wide one-on-one with Turnbull. It was tit for tat, but still it seemed there was no way through for either side. The match ultimately petering out as Strikers were reduced to 10 men. Makwase booked for simulation, his second yellow of the night, both teams having to settle for a share of the points. In the end, Josh Ahern getting our nod as the man of the match. The final match of the round was a battle of the coasts. Palm Beach SC travelling to Sunshine Coast Stadium to take on Sunshine Coast FC. Fire have surprised many with their early season returns, and they were at it again. Kenya Takahashi with the better of the early chances, shooting this one right into the side netting. The Sharks sought to outwit their host with this pre-arranged free kick, Justin McKay unable to keep the shot down. Matthew Jones also failing to test the goalkeeper with this half chance. Takahashi demonstrated his mix of strength and skill to fashion this chance, however unable to get his shot past Shane Vidakangas in the Palm Beach goal. While down the other end the target continued to elude the Sharks, Roman Hoffman unable to get his foot around this attempt. Soon after, another chance and another miss for the Sharks, McKay again with his head in his hands. But just when it looked like it'd be an afternoon of slim pickings, up stepped Reece Kelly. Plenty of strength to keep hold of possession, plenty of skill with the finish, and the Fire captain had put his side ahead 1-0 just before the break. Having seen how it was done, Sharks delivered an instant reply. Jared Kyle with the strength this time to see off his defender, the deflection falling to Reece. He delivered an opportunistic finish and the scores were level 1-1 at half time. Sharks were living dangerously after the break though. This ball across the face of goal before Kane Frew went inches wide with this drilled effort. And Fire soon had their reward. Kelly running onto this nod on. He benefited from a slip from Shane Vidakangas, an easy finish in the end, Sunshine Coast back ahead 2-1. Sharks continued to fight but just couldn't find a way through. Until a handball from a free kick offered Sharks a chance late in the second half to at least grab a point. Up stepped skipper McKay, but Dale Hill was too good in the Sunshine Coast goal, sparing his defenders blushes. And there were to be no more second chances for Sharks. Substitute Jacob Fuller continuing his early season form for Fire, icing the result. 3-1 the full-time score, the skipper Reece Kelly getting the nod as the man of the match with 2 goals for Fire. A quick look at the table after round 6 sees the top 4 unchanged. Strikers ahead of Jets, Pride and Olympic. Important wins for Fire and Fury, seeing them hot on the heels of the finals places. At the other end of the standings, Southwest Queensland Thunder slip below Brisbane City, but plenty of work for both teams if they're to turn around their campaigns. In the Golden Boot race, and Alex Smith moves up to join Mitchell Hoare on 7 goals, Jacob Fullick slipping back into the top 3 with 5. For all the latest PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland news, match reports and highlights, be sure to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and to check the official website. This has been a production by Football Queensland for the PlayStation 4 National Premier Leagues.